You're now listening to the Cerberus Gridiron Podcast. And now your hosts, Christian and Chris, powered by Cerberus Fantasy Sports.
Let's go. Welcome to the Cerberus Podcast. I'm your host, Christian_CFS. It is episode 27 in the building. We got a good show for y'all. And here's your co-host, Mr. K Camp.
What up, my good people? Shalom, I came to my good people, and shalom, I came to my bad people. May you learn to become good. What's up, bro? Ham?
Man, nothing much, man. Just ready to get this podcast, man. This YouTube feel going on, man. We got a nice episode for everybody.
Playoffs about to start. Week 14 is the last week of the season. Week 14.
Yes. A lot of people are actually on the bubble trying to get into the playoffs. Some people don't really care about the bubble. Only thing they're worried about is like, okay, well, I'm gonna make the playoffs, so I'm good.
Right.
But then you have those
none of that. Go ahead.
But then you have those people that are like, oh snap, I'm out of the playoffs. So what am I supposed to do? Like, what am I supposed to do? So I want y'all people that is out of the playoffs to sit back, relax, and enjoy this podcast because we are going to talk about what's happening in the news. We're also going to go back and then talk about week 14 MVPs. And then we had to do it for the people that are not in the playoffs. We got a 7-round mock draft that has already been done, and we're going to analyze the picks and then tell y'all if we think that was a good pick by the selection or if we didn't. But this is the 7th round, so we're going to go through that really fast, give a brief analysis, and just keep going through it.
What? Okay. All right. Improv. Let's go. Back in my, this is going to be an actor. Let's go. At the end, see if we can give a little tips to the people who are not going to make the playoffs what they should be doing. Hopefully they get their first round pick.
So we are at the CGP News, brought to you by Cerberus Fantasy Sports, where you can get all your articles and stats. Man, what is going on in the news? Man,
we had quite a bit of injuries, right?
How did JJ come back and then he get hurt again?
Hey, check. I didn't even see the hit. Like, I didn't get to see. I didn't probably watch any football today.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the hit at all, but it flashed through my timeline. People talking about, oh, JJ out, chest injury. I'm like, chest injury? I was like, dude, you just got back. But we understand. It is football. Now, these matchups right now have a lot of things based off the actual rankings up in the NFL. For like all the playoff seed and like all the movement. Right now we got this Kansas City and then Buffalo Bills game going on right now, which is going back and forth. A lot's riding up on that. Shoot, Sean McDermott, he might not keep his job if they end up losing today.
Man, you know what? I've been hearing that, but they just signed to an extension this past offseason. So now I think they need to move on to a more offensive head coach minded head coach, but they just signed to an extension. So I don't know where this is coming from. He should be on the hot seat, but yeah.
Well, you know how some people, they can get very impatient when you got a team that has not been good for like so long, but then all of a sudden now they got you back. Six seasons they've been winning, or like something like that. Like, but they've been winning. Like now people are like, okay, who's going to get us to that next hump? Like, who's going to get us to the Super Bowl? Hey, man, we understand y'all want to get to the Super Bowl,
fair.
Buffalo Bills fans, but y'all, hey, if y'all do cut him loose, y'all better be going after Ben Johnson hard.
All
I'm
right.
talking about hard because, to be honest with you, all right, let's do a little scenario. If you were Ben Johnson, which job are you taking right now?
Give me
Buffalo Bills
okay.
or the Chargers? Which two? You got
Bills.
your pick.
I'm taking the Bills.
Taking the Bills?
Taking the Bills. I mean, with some reluctancy, I'm taking the Bills. The Chargers is good. I'm a Justin Herbert fan. I like him. Keenan Allen's getting old, though. If I'm able to keep Stephon Diggs, still got Josh Allen, I like that a little bit more than with the Chargers. But it's neck and neck between them two. I'm not gonna lie. I think if he's fired, those will be the top two destinations for me. If I'm a head coach.
Yeah, that's what I think too as well. But I just thought it would be interesting because I know a lot of people out there on the news, they talking about, oh, he should be fired. Things like, hey, man, y'all better relax.
I mean, so I see your point, and I'm with you, and I agree because what he's done to the Buffalo Bills in the past 5-6 years. He gave them a culture, gave them a little bit of a culture. They needed that, but I do think there's something missing on the offensive side. Even his defense, he's the defensive mind head coach, and they're giving up, the points they're giving up. But they need an offensive somebody real Josh in. And it's not him. That sucks because, like you said, they've been dormant for 30 years, and now you're not, so they should be grateful. But
yeah, but it'd be like that sometimes. You got these fans that don't appreciate what they have, and they want something better right now. Who was that other franchise that ended up firing their head coach? And then, like, the next year, they ended up going to the playoffs or something like that.
That's not ringing the bell to me.
That might be up in the NBA or something like that, where the team had like a winning season, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, my bad, it was the NBA. Sorry about that. It was whenever what's the coach before Steve Kerr? Remember whenever Golden State?
Mark Jackson. Yeah. See, Mark Jackson too helps if that kind of mindset, and then we need somebody better on the offensive end, Steve Kerr, to get them over the hump. So see that could be what
It could be. That's why I said they need to sit back. They need to. All right, yeah. I forgot who like the actual owners are now of the Bills, but I do know they own like the Sabres, like the Buffalo Sabres and everything. So I know they're part of that. But maybe they might sit back and they might be like, all right, well, he's got us here for this amount of time, which we appreciate that. But what if we get this? That. What if we get this next guy in Ben Johnson being that next vaulted? Or what if, let's say Ben Johnson is not even on the tables? What about Eric Bieniemy? What do you think about him?
Is he better than Ben Johnson? Yeah. I mean, yeah. I would take Eric Bieniemy. He's offensive minded coach. So if he's offensive minded coach and you got some skin in the game, I'll rock with you. Yes, I'll rock with you.
Okay.
I would do that. And he might still have that toughness that they need too, because he's tough on them. So they might need that. So he might be able to, have both personalities to help Josh and instead of that mindset in the locker room that they need. So
True.
I do like that Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, I just had to throw that out there. I know it's different and everything, but let's just see. But you got anything else about the news that you want to talk about or anything?
Yeah, so we got Justin Herbert, finger, CJ Stroud, his head.
Yep.
Jay Browning went out, but he came back in. Alexander Madison, ankle. Nico Collins, calf. We already talked about JJ in his chest. Tutu Atwell, David Duvernay. And the rest of them are probably just linemen and everybody else. Yeah, so that was it. Justin Herbert. They didn't need to just sit him down. They need to just tank. Just, what I'm saying? From the Chargers, tank. Everybody got to go. Everybody new in here, offensive minded coach. We have as a top 5 pick. We got a quarterback. Get you another lineman. Maybe move up and get you another wide receiver because you missed out on your boy from TCU. He's garbage. He can't catch. So he can't run around. So you're a rookie. That's what I would do.
So as of right now, I'm just looking at the order as of right now, and this is updated too. So
Okay.
They are picking top 10. So if they was to lose out, do you think they will get up into like the top 5?
Yeah, and you know what I would do if I'm in them? Win 5. Let's say I'm at 4. And if I can get another first round pick, move back to like 8, get you an offensive lineman, and maybe get you 2 first round picks, and get you another wide receiver because you need somebody to take over Keenan Allen because Mike Williams he stay hurt, and you missed out on a bunch of TCU. So you definitely need somebody to take over for Keenan Allen. They need that for Justin Herbert. So,
well, I'm just thinking because like you already know, we was already talking about up in the group chat and everything about this nice probability that could end up happening if he was to come out. But I'm not going to talk about it right now. We're going to sit back and see if it ends up. We got until like January. We'll end up talking about that up in January.
When does he have to make a decision? I think he's coming out, and I think he's going to the Cardinals. They're going to pick it somewhere in the top 5, and they're going to get him.
January 15th. 15th. He has to declare before January 15th. So it's going to be interesting to see if he does declare.
They already lost their quarterback. He in the portal. I mean, like you said, I'm sure there's some more coming out. But
hey, there's some good QBs up in the portal, dog.
Is Jim Harbaugh leaving? Because for some reason y'all can't beat Michigan if Jim Harbaugh there. So until he go, don't think about you gonna win the Big Ten or let alone the championship.
Hey man,
just saying.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with the possibility.
Just saying. Okay, yeah, that's all about the news.
That's all about the news. It's all about the news. In this next segment, we're going to talk about the weekly MVP candidates. Candidates for this week, and that's where we select who is the MVP, which is obviously the actual highest performing athlete of that week. This is not including the Sunday night games or the Monday night games, but we are giving it to 2, which is actually good. But so we're going to end up going and doing them right now. The first, we have to give a round of applause to. We have to give that round of applause to Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
That boy. Oh yeah, that boy Lamar Jackson turned up in the game against those Los Angeles Rams, and ended up getting you his final stats for the evening was, or for the day was, he completed 24 balls on 43 attempts, which ended up being a 55.8 passing yards or percentage for 316 yards. 7.3 average, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, QBR rating as a 92.78, and then he ended up giving you 70 rushing yards on the ground. Ended up getting you, if this is a PPR format, he did get you 31.64 points. This is not including all those bonuses that everybody be having and things like that. But as of right now, Mr. Lamar Jackson, come on down for this Cerberus Gridiron Podcast MVP for Week 14.
Indeed. Hey, how close was Joe Flacco? He might have getting a rushing line.
Joe Flacco was number 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he didn't have no rushing yards, so he only had, according to this, he only had 20.34 or 20.34 points. So the next person is up in number 2 was Desmond Ridder. So
now his garbage behind. Dude, right there, man. They got to see. Man, he took the 347 yards. I see one touchdown, one interception. He went off with Drake London.
Yeah, but it don't make a
man.
difference if he ain't scored no touchdowns.
Exactly.
Let's see who's going to be the weekly MVP for the running back position. Let's see. Oh, this was actually close. I didn't think about this person, but hey, congratulations. I guess this is what happens whenever you got Ramondre Stevenson being hurt. You got a nice young Ezekiel Elliott spotting out here. Ended up getting you 27 points for PPR leagues. So we applaud Mr.
Shout out to Zeke.
Zeke being relevant again.
Zeke.
So in other words, we already know what's going to happen. If you do have that New England Patriots running back, they're going to feed that one.
Yep.
So that was the MVP for the running backs.
Shout out to Zeke. Shout out, time at the clock.
But your boy Brees Hall was close for that number 2 spot, or for that number 1 spot. He ended up having 26.6 points. So he was off by 0.4. So you know how those point yards, man, they be getting you. But if you ain't got the top, so you ain't going to be up there. At the wide receivers for the weekly MVP candidates, we got to go with Mr. Debo Samuel. Mr. Debo was out there showing why he is Debo. Ended up having 7 receptions for 149 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 rush for a touchdown. Ended up getting you 34 points for all PPR formats. And your boy, Mr. Drake London, is out here trying to get at number 2. I'm just going to mention him because, hey, we know what's been happening up in Atlanta. Big fire sale down there. We know Desmond Ridder is not the guy. Shoot, to be honest with you, it's probably the head coach, to be honest. So we're not going to talk about that. We ain't going to talk about that because we can go down a tangent. That is another summertime. I'm talking about that's another summertime conversation that we can end up having out here on the podcast. But let's go back and let's say congratulations to Mr. Debo Samuels. Man, these Titans just came out of nowhere this week. I'm talking about we got 3 guys that normally you do not see at all. But we only got to give it to one person, but we will talk about the other 2. We got Mr. Evan Engram for the Jacksonville Jaguars showing. The dude had 11 receptions for 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ended up getting you 32.5 points on PPR leagues. And then your boy, David Njoku, ended up doing his thing. And we just heard, everybody, that Joe Flacco is the starter for the remainder of the year. Keep that in mind.
Wow. I know that.
Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. This might not be a fluke for daggone David Njoku. Because we know how Joe Flacco is whenever he finds a guy.
Like you, he gonna stick with you. That's usually you don't get, the top 2 in the same game.
Nope.
That's what's up.
And then at number 3, I had to bring this guy up because he is taking over for one of the top 3 tight ends out there, and that is Mr. Isaiah Likely. He ended up getting you 19.3. He ended up getting you 19.3 points. He's showing you what he can end up doing, which is very beneficial for everybody. And he might be doing what Justin Fields is doing right now, trying to show them why he needs to be involved more. Got to think about that. He might be an answer in 2024.
Might be for Mark Andrews. What's going on, Mark? Foot injury, ankle, something like that?
He had an ankle.
Ankle?
Yeah. I think a high ankle sprain, so. But I remember what I told you my bold prediction was at the beginning of the season, what I think might end up happening.
I think you did mention Isaiah Likely at the beginning of the season.
But it's also, I'm thinking that now this is another summertime conversation. I ain't about to go down this tangent. We're gonna stick to the script. But we have to say thank you to all the week 14 MVP candidates, which is, we're going to go back it again. We have at QB, we have Lamar Jackson. At running back, we have Zeke Elliott. At wide receiver, we have Debo Samuel. And at tight end, we have Mr. Evan Engram. And everybody, man, say hey to daggone little Mr. K Camp right there. He's showing his thing, man. And man, he's showing his thing. He had to show Daddy, hey, I'm about to take your spot. He about to come out here and give us some stats. But let's go on and get into the next segment. That is this 7-round 2024 review by, and I just found this article. It's Trains and Golf Club. Never heard of them a day in my life, but I was looking for a 7-round mock draft for the NFL, and it's actually really interesting because they got trades up in here too. So it's gonna be, yes, they got trades in here. So what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna look at this draft, we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna give people that are not in the playoffs guys who you need to keep on your radar, and also thinking about, would you actually want to have this guy on your team if he was selected by these teams? I know there are people out there that do not care where guys are selected per team, and then you got some people out there that need to know exactly where the guy's going.
I do. So this is a way too early draft review.
Oh, not a because in Dynasty, what we do up in this sea of on this Cerberus Gridiron podcast, we zig when other people zag.
That is a flag. We caught that. Rasheed Weiss. I'm gonna have to get Rasheed Weiss. You got him on your team?
Man, dog, you already know your boy been going up in this. Let's see, for the people out there that don't say all this studying film and things like that don't matter, or you have some people up in your leagues who they gonna wait till about 1 week before and then be like, well, you ain't know nothing about this dude. Exactly. Hey, your boy know what's going on. We know what's going on. I ain't gonna point no fingers out, but let's go and get to the podcast. Let's go and get into this 7-round mock draft. And this is interesting. At pick number 1, for the people that are not seeing, they have the Bears taking Drake May out of North Carolina. And I don't know what's going on, but I hope and pray that they don't do this. At number 2, we have the Jets moving up and trading with the Cardinals to get Caleb Williams. Then you have then you have at number 3. Everybody remember this is week 13. This is not including this week. So they have at number 3, they have the New England Patriots taking Marvin Harrison Jr.
Throw up in your mouth.
I don't like that right there either. At number 4, they are getting the number 1 tackle out there to actually help the actual Arizona Cardinals right now. So that is one thing that I can say is Joe Alt. If I'm butchering his name, but we know Notre Dame brings out tight ends, and they can bring out some tackles as well.
They can. I agree with that.
At number 4, we got Brock Bowers going to the Washington Commanders. And they got this dude listed as a wide receiver / tight end. So it's really interesting right there.
Now.
At number 6, the Giants are finally getting their wide receiver number 1 that they needed. Roman Aduze out of Washington, which I think that would be a good. He might be that Stephon Diggs that Daniel Jones was actually meant.
But he big as he's 6'3", 215. That's a big boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I I like that for the Giants and Debo. So
then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers might be getting a guy that they can end up putting underneath the wing of Mike Evans if they end up bringing Mike Evans back, and that is Malik Neighbors out of LSU.
He's a stud.
Yes. So also people out there that are listening to that are just joining in, we are doing a 7-round mock draft. I'm not going to go the whole 7-round because that's a lot of players, but we are giving you that idea and just have you think about some of these guys and where their potential landing spots are going to be so you can start doing your research. The ones that are in the dynasty and physically are out of the playoffs, you can start looking, seeing where you're getting drafted at and start seeing like where some of these guys might end up going. Then the Chicago Bears finally they end up going another wide receiver. Which is not bad, but they got Keon Coleman. Hey.
I get why they did that, but they need a lineman. That offensive line is trash. You get Drake May killed. Stupid.
At number 9, you have Mr. Teron Arnold, cornerback out of Alabama, going to the Chargers. Tennessee is getting there. Tennessee is actually getting that nice tackle that they do need. I'm not going to say his name, but he is the tackle out of Penn State. I don't want to butcher the guy's name, and then the at number 11, the Vegas Raiders are getting Nate Wiggins at cornerback. The New Orleans Saints ended up getting a D tackle from Illinois. I'm not going to butcher his name, but his last name is Newton. Yeah, Jazan Newton. Then at number 13, pick 13 in the first round, the Green Bay Packers are getting themselves a nice tackle from Georgia, which Mims is actually pretty decent from like what I was seeing.
Okay.
But he did end up getting hurt up in that game versus Alabama though.
Okay, ACC championship game.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about that pick because they're great at picking tackles. So
yep. So now at number 14, you got the Los Angeles Rams taking Dallas Turner, edge out of Alabama.
I get it. I kind of get that, but I feel like they need to go. They need to go offensive lineman too, especially if they're keeping Matthew Stafford. Unless they're going to trade Aaron Donald and get something else. Okay, keep going.
Then at the 15th spot, the Bengals are getting in their left tackle that they need out of Alabama, J.C. Latham. And then at number 16, the Buffalo Bills get, man, this dude's name can't be this dog. Kool-Aid McKinstry? Hey, man. With a name like that, he better be balling.
It was Pat throwing the ball. That's game. It was Pat throwing. You know what? Arm got hit. Oh, and you know what? I said, I was like, why is this line at 1.5? Something's not right. Something's not right. And in the books, the professionals, they bet at Buffalo. Pat pissed.
All right, y'all.
Referee? Sorry. I'm sorry. There's a big game going on.
Y'all make sure y'all bloop that out and send that to the back. That is a blooper moment right there.
That is a blooper moment. And if you liked it, our podcast, please subscribe, like. We are on every platform that you can get podcasts. We also, you want to see about our beautiful faces? Well, my beautiful face. I don't know about his, but we also on the YouTube. Get that on YouTube, right? So please support, like, 5-star review. Please give us a great review. Feedback is a gift.
Yes, it is. At number 17, we got the Arizona Cardinals taking a wide receiver that they need in Brian Thompson Jr.
Okay, now hold up. I'm sorry to stop you, but how's Arizona picking at 17? Who's the other pick they got? Oh, they have the
from
Houston Texans.
Yeah, Houston.
Okay, that's the Houston Texans pick. Okay, that's probably right there. Okay,
yep. At number 18, the Denver Broncos are taking Latute, Latato,
Hey.
defensive
Shoot.
end from UCLA. If I butchered, I know I butchered his name. I'm sorry, but man, hey man, your boy Patrick Mahomes is pissed.
I see he pitched. I guess he wanted to call. I don't know what he was mad at. He was mad at the referee though.
Hey man. At number 19, we got the Atlanta Falcons getting a nice wide receiver to put in beside Drake London at Mr. Troy Franklin, wide receiver out of Oregon. Then at 20, Minnesota is going QB dumpster diving and taking J.J. McCarthy from Michigan. McCarthy. At 21, you got Cooper Dejan, cornerback for Iowa. Coach needs Dejan, whatever. Hey, I butchered your name. They do need a cornerback. Also, on top of that, you got the New England Patriots coming back again. Them selecting Jaden Daniels, the Heisman Trophy winner. Jaden Daniels.
There's a quarterback.
Okay. So, based off this connection right now, we're just going off. They took Marvin Harrison at 3, according to this draft, and then they just came back with Jaden Daniels.
So maybe they're probably thinking if Drake May and Caleb Williams gone, let's get the next best player, which is Marvin Harrison Jr. I get it, but I don't know if I would want to be associated with anything with the New England Patriots.
What if they end up firing Bill?
Okay, now we talking. Now we can talk. You fire Bill, we can talk.
What if you fired Bill and then you got those two?
Because I was about to say, I mean, you keep it Mac Jones, keep it Bailey Zappa. No, you're not doing that. Like, you got to get this stub wide receiver with no quarterback. Come on now. So they fire Bill. I wouldn't be mad about that. And they get rid of Mac Jones. I wouldn't be mad about that. I would like it better now. I'll be in. Go ahead.
At number 23, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers getting a nice cornerback just to pair with what's his name? I forgot the guy's name from Penn State. Porter, yeah. Joey Porter Jr. Yep. Mm-hmm. So that's a good matchup right there. And it also says right there it could be a perfect boundary quarter duo with Porter. So at number 24, Houston finally comes in and they get a left tackle out of Oregon State. Then
they probably need that. They probably need that. Now who pick is this?
What the Dolphins?
So Houston they had 2 picks. I'm asking who picked did they have for number 24?
Because
they traded their first round
Cleveland.
Okay. Deshaun Watson. Okay. Gotcha.
Then they have at 25, the Miami Dolphins are getting a nice offensive center, Zach Frazier, out of West Virginia. At 26, the Dallas Cowboys end up getting another edge rusher just to help out with oh my goodness, this next one. In Princely Amilimanam out of Florida, which that might be a nice pairing opposite of that might be what they needed just to take them off over the actual top to get them to that promised land in Micah Parsons. To be a nice duo with him. Mm-hmm. Then at 27, this is going to be shocking because I am a Florida State fan and I do. Jared Verse, by far, this dude might end up being vaulted up into the top 15 based off of his performances. But him going, he's really good. He ended up playing well for the Seminoles this year, but if he goes to Detroit and they already got a nice stud DN out there in Mr. Hutchinson, I think that'll be the nice opposite pairing for him for Aiden Hutchinson. At 28, we have Jacksonville Jaguars select Xavier Legette wide receiver out of South Carolina. Now, this is a big body wide receiver. Big body. which I think this would be a great addition to what they have already right now. And that is with Christian Kirk. And I do not know what they're going to do with Calvin Ridley, if they're going to end up getting him back or trying to re-sign him. But I do
They probably
think
could on a cheap deal.
they could. I do
But
think them adding this wide receiver is probably going to be a big, because this dude is a big body. I seen him week 1 whenever South Carolina played North Carolina, and this dude is a big body. Like, I think like 6'4".
No, it ain't. Xavier Leggett.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you talking about? He say he's 6'1", 225.
Well, he looked like a lot taller.
He's elite Virgo speed. I said Virgo speed, 6'1", 225.
He looked bigger in person, dog. He looked big in person.
That's good.
Whenever I'm seeing him catching up on, he looked big in person. But we'll see what ends up happening up at the combine and everything. At 29, the Kansas City Chiefs, they have them taking Chop Robinson, edge rusher out of Penn State. Then at number 30, they have the San Francisco 49ers taking an offensive tackle, which is kind of smart, I think, to put up in the wing behind Mr. Trent Williams if he does try to retire. Because we know how the 49ers offense goes. They go the way Trent Williams goes. And it's probably best they need to start figuring out who's going to be that next apparent young, explosive tackle that he can get that knowledge from.
Mm-hmm.
Then Baltimore goes into the well and they get a guard. Troy Atana, offensive guard out of Washington. And then at 32, they have the Eagles, Darius Robinson, edge rusher out of Missouri.
So you know what that means? That means whoever wrote this article has the Baltimore and the Philadelphia Eagles playing each other in the Super Bowl, and they had my Philadelphia Eagles winning the Super Bowl. I like that. That's the only part I like about this article.
But that's going to be a nice, interesting. I say that's going to be a nice, interesting game if it was to happen.
Yeah, and I like it. I actually like that. Can you scroll down a little bit because I kind of want to see. I want to see where they have some of these running backs going.
Oh yeah, that's the reason why we're going to try to do another round or two, and then we're going to try to do another round or two. At 33, the Carolina Panthers finally get a wide receiver just to help out Mr. Bryce Young and Emeka Ibuka, which I really don't think he's going to be in the second round, but who knows?
I think he's there's a lot of wide receivers coming out, but I would give him on top of my head, he's definitely top 6, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, wide receiver. So yeah, I don't think he's gonna fall that far. But they do need to draft one at 33, whoever it is.
Yep. At 34 overall in the second round, they got the Arizona Cardinals taking Devontae Sweat, D tackle out of Texas. Since you want to see most of the offensive players, we'll scroll down a little bit since it is the second round instead of go through them. The Giants end up taking Carson Beck out of Georgia, which is shocking because they ended up getting a backup QB for Daniel Jones, maybe put up on the hot seat.
They
say, hey,
this is
what as of right now, like if this was to be the actual draft, they're putting Daniel Jones up on the hot seat saying, hey dog, it'll make a difference if you got paid all that money or not.
I think you said they could opt out after this year, after this upcoming year. Somebody said that. It might have been Mission 17-5 said that.
Yeah.
That they kind of gave it like the first 2 years and then you can get out of that contract.
Yep. Then another so the Chargers in the second round at pick 40 are getting a nice tackle, Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. At 41, the Titans are actually getting a wide receiver, Lad McConkey. Dude is actually really good.
Is he for Georgia?
Yeah.
6 foot, 185.
But for him going to Tennessee, we already know how Tennessee is and everything.
But see, I think something's about to check because, they missed on your boy from Arkansas. I think he's trying to be a boss. He can't stay healthy.
I don't think they missed the dude. Just like I just don't like Tennessee's offense. Yeah, well, you can't knock it. Well, injuries. I don't think he was injured like that coming out, but I just don't like how Tennessee runs their offense. Like
I don't either. They need to get a more creative offensive coordinator. I agree. It's Levis now, and I think they need to move on from Derrick Henry if they can. Tajay Spears. Let's go.
Yep. So then now another sighting that you want to see. We have 43 Bo Nix out of Oregon going to the Raiders, which
second round pick.
That's interesting there, especially with Aiden O'Connell. Like,
oh, you know, I forgot about.
Do they like Aiden O'Connell like that? Are they keeping the same head coach that is in there right now? Because we do know that we do know that Max Crosby actually went up to the owner and said, "Hey, we want to keep the GM and we also want to keep this intern head coach as well." So,
Spears.
Yeah.
Why did I see somebody say that he got paid or they signed to an extension? That's not true. So he's not officially not their head coach going forward.
I don't know. Like if that is news out there to me, go on and you look it up right now because I'm going to give you the running back that you finally coveted about. With the first sighting of a running back, the Green Bay Packers are with this pick. They're probably saying, "Hey, Aaron Jones, we're going to put you off to the side a little bit. And we're going to get Mr. Travion Henderson out of Ohio State. And he is the first running back off the board."
Yeah, one thing is hurt. I mean, what's his name is he's old. Aaron Jones, he's like 30. So
yeah. So then the New Orleans Saints are going to jump into that wide receiver well because now since the second round is going on, we are digging into just offensive players. That is going to help us out for fantasy. I'm not bringing up the actual offensive tackles, even though the offensive tackles would end up being a nice position just to talk about or anybody on the line because a lot of people don't realize like you can go back and look at these offensive linemen and determine based off the scheme that they're running if they're going to be able to help out your team in the pass blocking or running the football. But with that being said, the next person New Orleans Saints ended up taking Jalen Polk, Washington wide receiver.
Yeah,
another guy, according to this, he is 6'2", 204. Separate, create, burst. So we're going to see what's going to happen with that. And then scrolling down here, we got, now this is interesting right here because I don't think this is going to happen, but if he did go here, Mr. Michael Penix Jr., quarterback from Washington, a lot of people are knocking him because they're saying that he is a statue in the pocket, that he cannot be mobile. And that could be the reason why, according to this mock draft, that he is dropping all the way down into the second round.
Yeah, I mean he's mobile. He can be mobile enough to get his pass off. He does a pretty ball, but yeah, I don't like his injury history. I don't like that either.
Nah, that's another thing with his injury history. A lot of people, I don't think he's going to end up going. But
a lot of people.
This is about to be a nice track meet going on right here up in Miami. You got the speedster, Mr. Xavier Worthy out of Texas going to Miami. They already got Tyreek Hill. They already got Mr. Jalen Waddle. And then they're going to add Mr. Xavier Worthy too? When you talk about the fastest team in the NFL, they just added more speed to their team if this can end up happening.
Now, are they doing this because Tyreek is still on board with him retiring at 30 years old?
Hey, that could be it too. They could be doing that, which is not bad. Get him underneath there. You get some nice reps. And at pick 62 in the second round, the Kansas City Chiefs take Auden Mitchell, wide receiver from Texas. I like this pick also just to put outside along with Raji Rice. Go and get Mr. Daggone Valdez Scantley. Shouldn't even have a job, Mr. Drops.
Oh, my God.
I don't understand what is going on. But with Kansas City adding this wide receiver, we already know what's going to happen. This dude might be vaulted into the end of the first round because people say, hey, he's going to Kansas City. So I just
Right.
got to take him. So
Yeah, I think that's how Scott Moore bust, and you're right. We got that pretty early because he was in Kansas City.
Yep. Then the next pick in the second round, in the second round at the 63rd pick, the Baltimore Ravens are jumping into that wide receiver role. And I'm actually going to have to look up this guy. We will probably end up doing some nice little up on the channel, doing some nice little analysis up on running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, looking at some highlight films, game film, and everything. They got Malik Corley, wide receiver out of Western Kentucky, which is interesting because this is one of the first players that I'm seeing that's not from a Power 5 school being selected in a coveted wide receiver position. So at 64, the Philadelphia Eagles take Trey Benson. Let's go, Knowles. Benson going to the Eagles. Another running back, which is actually quite interesting. Even though we see what they're going to end up doing with
You said, okay, Trey Benson. So what they doing with DeAndre Swift? You think 6'1", 225? This is your school, Florida State. How good is he? I hadn't done any research, so I have no idea. He that dude?
He's a bruiser. He's a nice 1-2. He can catch the ball if you need him to up on third down. But we already know what gets you on the field as a rookie is if you are able to block.
Pass protection. Yeah. Pass protection on third downs. You're right.
And that's one thing that we need to see if he can do it in the NFL. Because we already know how it is.
Most running backs can't when they first come in. Only a few can come in. They can play all three downs. You got Saquon, he came in, he could do it. Bijan could do it. So I don't know.
So at round 3, last round that we're going to end up doing, and we're going to do this like hyper speed fast. So while we're doing this is going through, seeing if there are any. So the next running back which is quite interesting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, taking Braylon Allen running back out of Wisconsin, which Braylon Allen has been pretty decent whenever he was younger. But according to this, he is 6'2", 245. Nice bruiser just to help out Rashid White.
He's 19. How is that possible?
So, I don't think this is the right dog right here. I don't think he's still 19, dog. I don't think so.
I saw some on him, though. He's pretty young, though. I think he might be 20 then, maybe coming out. So maybe birthday's just late. But 19 don't sound right. Unless he turned.
Oh, well, technically, as of right now, he is 19. So he would be 20 coming out.
Okay.
So he would be. So if he was to come out, he would be the youngest. Because his birthday's in January, so January 20th. So.
Oh, okay. He's finna turn 20. Okay.
Yeah. So then the next running back, we got Bucky Irvin out of Oregon going to the Raiders, which that's also interesting right there. With him, Josh Jacobs, he only signed for 1 year. Can he take over that actual running back position, or will the backup Zamir White be thrusted into that number 1 overall role? And I'm going to shut out this person because this is the first HBCU player that I am seeing right now. The safety from Florida A&M going to the Los Angeles Rams, Kendall Boiler, DB. So we'll see what he can end up doing at number 77, which I think this is going to be interesting pick if he does go here. I still think T. Higgins is going to be gone. But
I agree.
Devontae Walker out of North Carolina, him being vaulted into that T. Higgins role, and from what we projected last year, your boy, he's already still on the team. He's already returning punts. I really do think Charlie Jones is going to end up taking that Tyler Boyd spot, and that's going to be their offense going forward. Those three right there.
Now, is Walker the kid that just got off probation or something like that? He got off suspension or something? Something was happening. He just started playing for UNC like 3 or 4 games ago. Is that him?
Yeah, it wasn't suspension. It was he transferred so many times, and then he was trying to get eligible just to play. But the NCAA was going back and forth with him. He tried to transfer to be closer to home, to be able to support his grandmother. But you know how the NCAA is. Like, he transferred so many times. It was like, okay, are you really doing this? I don't know his whole history about going back, but that's what it's saying right there.
Gotcha.
The next person is the Denver Broncos taking Ben Sutton out of tight end out of Kansas State. Interesting there with them taking a tight end, which would help Russell, even though they already got a Mr. Troutman out there. Then at 81 in the third round, the Green Bay Packers are taking Ordon Gadsden, the second wide receiver. If I butchered this name, I probably did. Going in at wide receiver from Syracuse. The next person, Javonte Sanders, which this might be a good pick for the Colts.
I like him.
Dude is pretty talented coming out of Texas, and pairing him up with the Colts, with Anthony Richardson and Michael Pittman out there, that's not a bad, and Josh Downs as well, and JT. Not a bad thing right there.
Not bad.
Then the Seattle Seahawks are digging in that another tight end well from Mr. Cade Stover from Ohio State, which I can see that happening with them as well because they do need a tight end to help them out. Yes, they got Noah Fant, but we already know Noah Fant is not the guy. He's not one of those Iowa tight ends that have been the ones that everybody been coveting. The next sighting, which I do like this pick, and this is another running back that you're talking about that you wanted to see. He is getting selected in the third round, but the Dallas Cowboys, Audric Esteem, running back from Notre Dame, which is interesting to pair up with Tony Pollard.
Tony ain't gonna be there next year, or if he is, he's taking a way back role because obviously, I don't know what they was thinking. He ain't the bell cow. He can't do it by himself.
No, he's never been a bell cow, so he should never.
Why would you even do what you were doing this year, right?
But I understand, like this next selection up in the third round. I understand they need wide receivers, but I totally do not agree with this. Them doubling down again at wide receiver.
See,
you got Jamari Thrash, wide receiver, Louisville. But that's what's interesting about seeing these 7-round mock drafts because you're getting to see like what players are going to end up. They might end up being on your radar. These guys might be in 4th round, 5th round picks for you that you might be able to stash and see can they end up doing something and bulk themselves into their roster. And he is out of Louisville. And that is all. We're not going to. That's the first 3 rounds of this mock draft review. We're not going to go to rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7 because we already know y'all don't have time for that. But we did give you a perspective of you seeing where these players could end up landing. Where these players did end up landing comparing to other situations, which it was interesting because this one is one of the first ones that I saw that actually had trades in it. Normally, you don't see trades involved in drafts until like maybe next year, January, February time, where people are saying like, hey, this is what might end up happening. This is what I'm hearing. So it was a nice area. Let us know what you thought about it. Please, everybody, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This was the first early mock draft review.
Because a lot at the beginning, I didn't agree with a lot of it.
Man.
Didn't make any sense to me.
It's interesting to get people's perspective, and we'll try to dabble in another review, seeing what we can end up doing, and then we might give y'all an early, way too early mock draft for the first round to see who you would end up selecting. But everybody, we like to thank y'all for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to give this to one of your buddies out there. Also, we'd like to thank everybody out there. Hashtag Replay Squad. Hashtag pass this to your best friend. Hashtag push this out to everybody that you know. Gonna give us a nice 5-star ratings. Any last words you want to say, Mr. K Camp?
Fly, Eagles fly. And we thank you guys for coming out. We know you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you. Spread love, not hate.
Spread love, not hate.
What? What? Okay. All right. Improv. Let's go.
That is another summertime.
Don't do it.
I'm talking about that's another summertime.
Rasheed Weiss. I'm gonna have to get Rasheed Weiss. You got him on your team?
Man, dog, you already know your boy been going up in this. Let's see. I guess this is what happens whenever you got Ramondre Stevenson, Mr. Lamar Jackson. Come on down for this Cerberus Gridiron Podcast MVP for Week 14.
MVP.
The next person is up in number 2 was Desmond Ritter. So,
now his garbage behind.
Wait, what is this? Oh!
But you got anything else about the news that you want to talk about or anything?
Yeah, so we got Justin Herbert, finger, CJ Stroud, his head.
Yep.
Jake Browning went out, but he came back in. Alexander Madison, ankle. Nico Collins, calf. We already talked about JJ in his chest. Tutu Atwell, David Duvernay.
Thanks for checking out another episode of Cerberus Gridiron Podcast, powered by Cerberus Fantasy Sports. Make sure you stay tuned for the next episode.